backstory. This happened in 2015 and still makes me wonder how dumb people are. I was on holiday with my mum and dad in Spain for a week. To make sure our house stayed well maintained, we would give 2-3 copies of our house key to our neighbors and told them to make sure nothing is taken. One of them was Karen, who was the only person in her family who was entitled. The story: so my family was back from our holiday, and by the time we got back we were so tired we left the luggage in the hall and went straight to our rooms to sleep. It was about 3 hours later when we heard something like glass break in our living room. If you have read my other stories then you would know 8 play airsoft, so I had a pistol with me. I took it with it loaded with BBs, airsoft bullets, pellets, and went downstairs with my dad, who was looking for his airsoft rifle but it wasn't in its case, so he followed me down with me. I walked into the room and I see Karen trying to rip the TV off the wall. In the process she knocked over a glass vase which made a loud crack that went through the house. The conversation went like this: me, what the F do you think you're doing? Karen, borrowing your TV, what does it look like? Dad, you are trespassing, get off my property now. Karen, you gave me a key so I have a right to take all your stuff, as having a key means I own this house, so go away. At this point Karen notices the gun and goes white. I take advantage and say go over to the kitchen. Next to my kitchen is a small bathroom, so as soon as she is near it my dad pushes her in and locked the door. Afterwards he called the police. About 20 minutes later they arrived, and when Karen heard them she started screaming through the bathroom door saying that we kidnapped her and how we refused to let her go. I tell the police what happened and offered to show them camera footage, as we have cameras all around the house. They took the footage and took Karen into custody until they looked over the footage. To sum this all up, Karen was stealing from us the whole week with stuff like radios and phones. We pressed charges and she got 18 months in jail for robberies and trespassing.
TAHK equals the almighty homophobic Corin, K equals kid, GF equals girlfriend, me equals mystical Enchidus. Okay, so, bit of backstory: I like to draw a lot, and anyway, I posted a drawing I did for my girlfriend's birthday onto my DeviantArt because I know she hadn't followed me on it and I wanted to ask people's opinion on it. Anyway, later, when I was editing the drawing, thanks to a couple of comments I get a notification saying I had a message on DeviantArt. I open it up and the message said, "Hello Fredbear 19874, my DeviantArt name. I saw your drawing of the creepypastas. Me and my GF both love creepypastas, and I was wondering if you would draw something for me. You see, it is my kid's birthday and he loves creepypastas. I cannot find anyone who will do it for me. Please reply with your answer ASAP TAHK." Now, as I said, this drawing was for my girlfriend and I'm not comfortable with drawing things for people unless I'm close to them, so naturally I replied with, "Hello TAHK, I'm sorry but I cannot draw anything for you. I'm not very uncomfortable with drawing things for people who I have never met or I'm not very close with. I hope you can understand Fredbear 19874. I didn't expect a reply, so I went back to editing the drawing. I got another notification and clicked on it. Lo and behold, TAHK had replied again to Fredbear 19874. "If you aren't comfortable drawing for people, why did you draw this? This is for someone else, you're just being selfish." I have to reread the message a couple of times and I'm starting to stress out a bit. I have autism and even though this wasn't in person it was still panicking me. Anyway, I reply with, to TAHK, "I drew this for my girlfriend as I'm extremely close to her and it is her birthday, and anyway, even if I were going to draw for you, you would have to pay me, which again, I'm not comfortable with, as you may not like my work and I would have to refund you without getting anything back, meaning I would have wasted hours of my life for no reason. If I knew you personally I would consider it, but as it stands I have never met you and I'm not comfortable with it. As I have stated many times already, it isn't going to happen. Please leave me alone. Fredbear 19874. I didn't even bother going back to my drawing at this point. I got a message a few minutes later saying, "Fredbear 19874, that's fine by me. I don't want a drawing by a F anyway. You gays are sinners and should all die. I wouldn't accept a drawing from you even if you paid me. She sent me a few more messages but I ignored them. That message left me shaken and I could feel a panic attack coming on. I just closed DeviantArt and went back to drawing, trying to get it out of my mind. A lot of my family are homophobic and I'm currently closeted. Just to clear up, I'm a female and it is very apparent on my DeviantArt as I have a self-portrait on it, and I have since deleted the post as I wasn't comfortable with it being up after that. I hoped at least one person liked my story. Bye.
This is an event I overheard, so I never intervened. This happened a few months ago. I was an office aide for one of my electives, which essentially means I would hang out in the front office and deliver passes, notes, and items to students or do small tasks for assistant principals and teachers. I hear quite a bit of crazy things while I'm in the office, and one day I realized I'd witnessed an entitled parent. So I believe this was a Friday, and on Fridays it's very normal for parents to bring their kids lunch from fast food places in the area or pull them from school during their lunch period to go to one of the fast food restaurants in the area. There was a man who came in and asked one of our receptionists to take his daughter out to have lunch. Our receptionist checks, and the man is not on the list of caretakers of this girl, so she tells him to talk to one of the assistant principals. Don't know if it's common, but there was multiple at my school, or bring her lunch instead of taking her out of school. The man gets angry and insists he should be on the list, but our receptionist checks again and again and he just isn't there. She calls down one of the APs, and the conversation goes something like this: AP, assistant principal, EP, entitled parent. AP, so you would like to take your daughter out for lunch, but you aren't on the list of those able to do that, correct? EP, yes, but I should be on there. AP, I'm sorry, sir, but we can't allow you to take her out of school for safety reasons. You can bring the food here, and then eat with her at the designated table in the cafeteria, if you'd like. EP, but I want to take her out to eat. Just call her down. AP, sir, there's laws saying I can't do that. EP, I want the paperwork that says I can't do that. Show me the paperwork. AP, there is no paperwork. You just cannot take your daughter out of this campus until you approve to caretaker. EP, just call her down here. I can take her out if I want because she's my daughter. Show me the paperwork that says I can't. They go in circles like this for ages, and the lunch bell rings for my period. I have to get up and go to lunch, but I was extremely sad I didn't get to hear the end of the story. Sorry to leave you guys without a conclusion.
Sarah, name changed, and I became friends in college. We drifted apart after graduation and met again years later, in the summer of 2019. I had expected her to have achieved great things by then, but it turned out that she had given up her career years ago to pop out 3 kids and was now a full-time mommies. Fine, whatever, it's her choice. We would meet up from time to time, make small talk, etc. It was all good, but the coronavirus lockdown, all she wants to talk about is her kids. She'll call me several times a day to tell me what her kids are doing. It ranges from OMG my kids are driving me up the wall, to OMG my kids poop is so amazing. Also, her youngest is learning how to talk, and of course, I have to hear all about that as well. Yesterday evening, she put the phone on speaker mode and asked me to listen to her kids' incoherent ramblings. It was annoying as fuck, so I simply hung up. This whole time, she hasn't asked even once if how my boyfriend and I are doing okay. If I try to talk about my day, she'll steer the conversation back to her kids again. From now on, I'm either going to avoid her calls or find ways to cut short the conversation. Bitch, you knew what you were getting into when you decided to have 3 kids. Do not expect me to be your therapist.
User lioness the Druid. Okay, I know I'll probably be downvoted, but have you actually had a conversation with her that she's being obsessively focused on her kids and she hasn't wanted to know anything about your life? If she's given up her career and is only raising her kids, then she probably doesn't have much outside of them to talk about, but she may be desperate for adult interaction. No clue what made her choose this path. She might actually feel trapped, etc. Maybe suggest a friends get together where talking about the kids is off the table. Friends need adult time.
Then tell her WTF. Don't go complaining to a bunch of strangers about someone so eager to talk about their day with you. I used to talk too much, and instead of my friends talking shit behind my back, they told me and I listened more.
Use a lovely lioness 36. I get both sides of this. I just had my first kid 8 months ago and it is all consuming at first. As an adult human, you actually have to work really hard just to maintain some sort of sense of self that doesn't revolve around your kids. I have actually apologized to people for only talking about my baby. For a while that's all I had to talk about. As your kids get older, they need you a little less and you're able to do things for yourself again. Take breaks. Have hobbies. It sounds like your friend never found any balance. You clearly aren't enjoying the friendship anymore. Drop the rope. She will find a mommy friend to bend the ear of.